A former lawmaker of the Federal House of Representatives from Nasarawa State, Aliyu Wadada, has condemned the recent protests that rocked some parts of the country on Democracy Day. Some youths were seen on the streets demanding for good governance. The lawmaker feels that there are civilized ways of channeling grievances rather than protests. Honorable Wadada urged protesters to channel their grievances through their representatives at the National Assembly.
Talking about protest on our Democracy Day. Democracy Days are not celebrated with protests. Democracy Days everywhere in the world are celebrated for achievements and non-achievements. Achievements that have been gotten to be rolled out, and achievements that haven't been things that haven't been achieved to be talked about in a very decent, respectful and democratic manner. I don't think protest on June 12th, not seeking for revalidation or recognition anymore of June 12th, because June 12th has already been recognized, but to protest on June 12th for good governance. I think our constitution has provided, process and procedures for seeking for good governance. One of the ways of seeking for good governance is what I had spoken about earlier. What is that I have spoken about earlier? Good governance cannot be gotten without good leaders. If you as an electorate go to elect or give your mandate to an individual that you know does not have the requisite capacity to deliver, but because he is of your ethnic, religious or tribal inclination, or a friend, or whatever sentiment, anyway, you give mandate based on sentiment, and then come to expect good governance. Good governance doesn't just fall from heavens. Good governance is gotten as a result of those that captain political institutions. And so I don't think protest will really give us what we desire or what we deserve or what we require. Rather, whatever our desires are, there are political institutions. Every part of this country is represented at the National Assembly. Whatever grievance, whatever wish, whatever need, whatever requirement any part of this country has, should channel it through its representatives at the National Assembly.
He also wants those calling for secession to adopt the legal procedure to achieve their aim.
I cannot stop anybody from perception, but if that perception is convincingly put together by the people to have led them to seeking for cessation, seek it in the right constitutional manner. Don't seek it in such a way, a manner that you put the country ablaze because you want to secede. If you put the country ablaze for you to secede, if you secede, where do you go? What do you achieve? So, and I see the issue of cessation. I think looking at our political antecedents, the most recent, those calling for cessation, I think are just being strategic. to have a bargaining chip for whatever they want. Otherwise, secession in Nigeria may not be impossible, but will be extremely difficult. But if any part of this country chooses to secede, nobody can deny anybody is right in Nigeria. But what we will always go for is to seek it constitutionally, in a very decent, respectful, and peaceful manner.
At the end of June 2021, the tenure of the National Caretaker Committee of the APC would constitutionally elapse. The committee was given an additional 6 months in December 2020 when its first tenure came to an end. But as its tenure draws to a close, leaders of the party are yet to come up with a timetable for new elections. Some members of the party under the Progressives for Umaru Tanko Amakura are worried about this delay.
As to why this much awaited timetable still lingers.
They want Memala Buni and his team to act swiftly and set a timetable to conduct congresses to pave way for new officials of the party to emerge.
We therefore call on the Memala Buni-led committee to forthwith release a working timetable for the different congresses and the extraordinary national convention of the party. This is to forestall any further suspicions and distrust from further festering, and to save its legacies of the achievements it has recorded so far.
The group also wants Senator Tanko Amakura to throw his hat in the ring and contest for the national chairmanship position of the party.
Our call on His Excellency Distinguished Senator Umaru Tanko Almakura to step out and vie for the seat of national chairman of the APC.
Some leaders of the party throw their weight behind the candidacy of Senator Amakura.
For local government councils chairman, because of our acceptance at the Algon National, and all the Algon chairmen of the 36 states and Abuja assured us that this is a project.
So he has been one party that ran a united state in terms of party politics throughout his 8 years as governor of Nasarawa state. And that is why, if you recall, if there are crises in other states, if the party is forming any committee for reconciliation, you will find an Almakura in that committee. So that is to say that this is the time that the APC needs Almakura.
As the party gears up towards another congress, it is expected that a timetable will soon be released to pave way for newly elected leaders of the party. This is the Farin-Ruwa multipurpose water dam in Wamba local government of Nasarawa state. It was initiated in 2003 by the Senator Abdullah Adamu's led administration, but abandoned after the expiration of his tenure. The project was originally designed to serve as water supply to farmers for irrigation and contribute to the national grid for electricity supply. These abandoned tractors were machines acquired for the job until the dam project was abandoned due to paucity of funds. But all hope is not lost yet, as the Federal Ministry of Water Resources have taken over the projects. It is for this reason that the Minister, Suleiman Adamu, Governor Abdullahi Sule, and other dignitaries are here to flag off the completion of the project.
Today, Saturday, June 2021.
The project would be expanded to include the regional water scheme and construction of irrigation infrastructure of 2,000 hectares.
Consideration of the state's request, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari graciously approved the takeover and completion of the project on 19 October 2018. The President not only approve the completion of the project as designed, but also the proposal that we made of the ministry to expand the project so as to include a regional water scheme and construction of irrigation infrastructure of about 2,000 hectares to serve the people of this area. Pursuant to this laudable initiative, the Federal Ministry of Water Resources awarded contract for the completion of Farin-Ruwa multipurpose dam project in Farin-Ruwa local government area of Nasarawa State to Messrs. With China Worldwide Engineering Limited in November 2021.
I have been to Canada to see waterfalls. I've been to Niagara Falls to see waterfalls. I've been to so many other places. This indeed, by far, is one of the most beautiful. So my attraction just went to the waterfall. So, Honorable Minister, before you came, we invited the Minister of Information. He came, he was thrilled by the waterfall because by that time we had already finished grading the road. And we are inviting you back so that by the time you see the waterfall at the table of the falls, you are an engineer, sir. You know easily you can generate your 25 megawatts right there. Then you have a dam. By the time the water flows all the way to this dam, and with 73 million liters, I wish some of you were listening when the consultant was mentioning, 73 million liters of water that you are having. And the depth of the dam, you can easily generate another 25 megawatts of power here. Sir, with 50 megawatts of power, the whole of Akwanga local government and Wamba local government, including Goody Station, the city there, we do not need anything more than 3 megawatts because there are no industries, nothing to actually consume the power. So you can imagine 10 megawatts is enough to power the entire Nasarawa state. You have 40 megawatts to go straight to Abuja. And Honorable Minister, if you do that, as I'm telling you, you have written your name in gold right here.
It is my prayer that this intention, which is being actualized today, God will see it to the fruitful completion. That the people for whom this project was conceived will live to have the benefits of the project. We say it often, but we rarely do it. Every kobo or penny that was put in this project was not from Abdullah Adamu's pocket. It was public money. When it was left to rot, to waste, it was public money that was allowed to go waste. So words alone cannot say how grateful I am personally and how grateful the people of this part of Nigeria and those who will come from other parts of Nigeria to benefit from the fruit of this.
And at that time, I said the amount of money my predecessors have spent on this project should not be left to waste. By the special grace of God, the minister was handy to see to the continuation of this project. I want to thank you. Minister, you have given us what will remain indelible in our mind whenever we think of Democracy Day. You made a very wonderful statement that democracy would have no meaning except if it is translated for the benefit of the people. You have made that possible to me. So we will always remember our Democracy Day as a day when the federal government has come with all the support to lift Nasarawa State for development and progress.
The people of Farin-Ruwa are delighted that the dam project, which seems to be a pipe dream, would finally see the light of the day.
Finally, let me assure Your Excellencies that we are permanently farmers in this area. Therefore, the dam about to be constructed will effectively be put in productive used for the benefit of our numerous farmers in Nasarawa State in general.
It will really be of help because some of us that are real farmers that are farmed throughout the year, as in both dry season and wet season, is a booster because it will enable us to commit ourselves, to commit our resources the more. Major reason why the geography here, we are faced with a little problem of drought, but with the coming of this gigantic project, you've heard from the minister, he said it's a regional water scheme. Of course, the capacity is not in doubt. It will improve on our yield. It will improve on encouraging more youths to go into farming. As you can see, I'm within the middle ages, so it's a booster, and it's a welcome. The government will continue to appreciate His Excellency the President of the Republic, of course, the Minister and Governor of Nasarawa State, for seeing to the completion of this mega project. And as you may be well aware, it's not just water supply, there's also the electricity generation aspects, which will augment the national grids to add value to whatever thing, especially in the area of small and medium enterprises.
There's something of God. There's something of God. This is Farin-Ruwa. It has been long that our people are waiting for such things to come like that. Now you can see people around, at least coming close to us. At least there's something of God. People at least participate, even for a long time. The road that has come to our place, the road has come to our place. Now our people can see the celebration.
This dam, when completed, will serve as a source of water for irrigation to farmers in the area and also generate electricity in order to boost power supply in the state. The project is expected to last for 2 years.
The moment the person makes a move of raise that person up gently.
Youths of Keana community of Nasarawa State pay rapt attention to a cardiopulmonary resuscitation session. A study by a team of Warwick University shows that about 1 in 8 cardiac arrest victims die as a result of poor cardiopulmonary resuscitation training levels.
You go like that 30 times.
The Senior Special Assistant on Primary Healthcare to Governor Abdullahi Sule is taking up this task to teach these youths some emergency saving measures. The aim is to reduce death rate among young persons, especially in communities with poor health emergency response system.
I will be doing the CPR training, both for the young souls and the adults.
Free testing and treatments of various ailments is also carried out in the community. Over 4,000 locals benefit from this gesture. The free medical outreach is in partnership with the Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria.
So the whole idea is to be able to bring back to the community what they can benefit from hands-on. And with the support of the ACPN, I'm able to bring them here so that we can assist the people in the community with what is going on, either through deworming, blood pressure, eye checked, and blood sugar testing and all that.
Locals commend the philanthropic gesture of the Senior Special Assistant and want the state governor to sponsor subsequent outreaches.
It's a good thing that the SA has brought this thing down to Keana, to my people in Keana. Particularly, I'm one of the beneficiaries. I want to commend her effort and also call on the governor, our Mebo governor, to do more through our office.
Yes, I feel relief, and I'm also happy, and I'm also thanking Mrs. Margaret for this, for the free medication, and also pray that God will bless her.
This medical outreach is a self-sponsored effort by the SSC on Primary Healthcare to Governor Abdullahi Sule to help the people of Keana community live a healthy life. Critical cases would also be referred to specialist hospitals across the country. Legislative drafting is an important skill for all lawyers, especially those in the public service.
Chance to do a goodwill.
This is because government, more often than not, draft executive bills, executive orders, and regulations. The executive is often aided by lawyers in the public service to actualize these. But the Nasarawa state government does not want its lawyers to be good in legislative drafting alone. The government wants them to be ICT savvy in the discharge of their duties. It is on the basis of this that the State Ministry of Justice is organizing this ICT training for lawyers in the public service of the state.
To be more specific, the training this afternoon, which has been undertaken by Association of Legislative Drafters, is to train the lawyers on the use of ICT tools in legislative drafting, and so that at the end of the day it will enable them to utilize ICT and software capabilities to draft laws for the state.
The purpose of this formal training is to give you those principles, and it is with those principles you can draft any kind of law. You can draft bylaws for local government, you can even draft federal laws. So the purpose of this training is to give you an understanding of the principles, because if you do not understand the principles, you create more problems for the state government. Let me give you an example. I work in the federal government, so I know what happens when laws are poorly drafted. Litigation, government loses money.
ICT is the new driver of every economy, of every society. With ICT, you get things done faster, more efficiently. And you know, with the issue of confidentiality, well, you know more than I do, but when you yourself, you're equipped with ICT, you're bound to keep certain things the way, you know, they ought to be kept.
Participants are hopeful that the training would further enhance their capacity to carry out their duties.
So, like things that we would do, you know, like writing a lot of words, the computer, the app that will be used, that has been introduced, will help us to cut away a lot of time. We'll just have to, you know, learn how to use the app and how it will make our work better as lawyers.
So we hope that at the end of this workshop we'll be able to have the knowledge and the equipment to draft perfect laws which will be for the benefit of the state and its citizens.